Hey 302, it's Jackie Ferris. On today's show, we are at the Hagley Museum and Library, the ancestral home of the DuPont family. This is a gorgeous area, and we're going to find out about the history and some of the events that you can check out in just a few weeks. The 302 is headed your way. Hey 302, it's a beautiful spring day, and there's no place more beautiful than at the Hagley Museum and Library. We're here to check out all that the museum and library has to offer. I'm joined now by Laura Jury. She is with the marketing department. Laura, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for coming out today, Jackie.
All I can say is wow. When you come out here for the first time, it is gorgeous. And I guess this is the ancestral home of the DuPonts. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct, Jackie. In the early 1800s, this was the first site of the DuPont company, founded by E.I. DuPont.
Okay, so we're looking at, this is the home that they lived in, right?
Absolutely. This was established in 1803. This is Eleutherian Mills.
Now, what is the type of architecture that we're looking at here?
This is a Georgian style home.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And I noticed that there's the wisteria on the top, something that was added later as opposed to by an ancestor. Is that right?
Correct. A little bit later on in the 1920s, but it's certainly beautiful. As you can see, it's starting to bloom at this time of year. It makes beautiful photos for visitors.
Sure, and you have a lot of weddings and folks that come out and just to capture all of this.
Makes a perfect backdrop for your wedding photos.
Now, the aesthetics are one thing, and there's just beautiful picture opportunities everywhere, but this is a real piece of American history. Talk to me about what happened here.
Well, this was the first location of the DuPont company, and E.I. DuPont founded it and manufactured gunpowder. So Eleutherian Mills sits in an ideal location on the hilltop, kind of looking down to the Brandywine where the gunpowder mills were located. And the site itself provides a great location for manufacturing of gunpowder because of the great natural resources. There's the energy from the Brandywine, with a drop in this location the last 5 miles of the Brandywine, providing the energy that powered the gunpowder mills here. There were willow trees that provided charcoal, which is one of the main ingredients of gunpowder. So all in all, it was a perfect location for the gunpowder mills.
You couldn't run to the store to get charcoal or to get anything that you needed. I mean, so they had to be self-sufficient. So that kind of lends to what you were just saying, right?
Absolutely. During that time, everything needed to be self-contained, and the fact that all the resources needed for this type of gunpowder operation were right here, including a type of natural rock called Brandywine gneiss, and that type of rock was made to manufacture the gunpowder mills. This is one of the earliest gunpowder mills here in the United States. Well, this is one of the locations that manufactured the highest quality gunpowder in the early 1800s. And then from here it was shipped out. It went via train cars and then went out to the port and went to regions all over the United States. The DuPont company supplied a lot of the gunpowder that was used in the Civil War for the Union side.
Excellent, excellent. So as far as, this is not something the DuPonts did themselves, and I would imagine it took a lot of folks to manufacture this gunpowder and get it on the trains and get it to the various places. Talk to me about the manpower that went into this.
Sure, this was a great story of immigration for the United States. During this time, a lot of immigrants found work here and actually lived right here in the community at Hagley. A lot of the workforce were Irish immigrants, but there was a definite blend of different cultures here who made the gunpowder business successful for E.I. DuPont.
So whenever you say they lived here, did they have homes here? I mean, was there a school? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. There's what we call our Workers Hill community here that has residences where they lived, as well as a Sunday school where they were educated. So everything was very self-contained here at DuPont.
So talk to me a little bit about the average day of these folks. I mean, when did it start? I mean, how long did they work for the companies?
Certainly it was a very long day for the workers here, but as you can see with the placement of the residents, that E.I. DuPont was very invested in the company and also the community here. So they had a lot of recreation here. They had their friends and family living here, which was something very unique at the time.
Okay. Okay, now I see, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a tour in the background, and there are tours running all the time, just to kind of check out some of the things that you were talking about, right?
Absolutely. You can come for an individual tour with family and friends, or you can also schedule a group tour. A lot of school tours come through here to learn about life in the 19th century.
Now, I understand that there is a beautiful French garden on property. Can you tell me about that?
Yes, that's the DuPont garden, located not far here from Eleutherian Mills. It was a French country kitchen garden, so it was a very functional garden that grew the food that the DuPont family ate. So it's very unique in that it has a lot of heirloom varieties of vegetables and things that were grown here, and we've done a lot of research to make sure that they're historically accurate. So these are actually varieties that DuPont would have grown in the early 1800s.
Now, as far as the layout, I know that in some of the French gardens, they're very elaborate in the way they're laid out, in terms of, you know, the plants themselves, the flowers, things like that. I mean, was this adapted after anything else?
DuPont had brought over some ideas with him, and certainly was very much into botany, and had traded different varieties with other people who are already established here in America. And it is done in the French style with a lot of paths that go through it. And then we have some beautiful pear trees that are trained and designed in a certain French style.
So if somebody wants to check out, you know, the gardens, the ancestral home, I know there's a lot of antiques and things like that, what do they need to do?
The first stop should be our visitor center, which is located at 200 Hagley Creek Road. There you can check in. Our hours are currently 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. There are during the week tours that leave hourly, and then on the weekends every half hour. So you can go on a self-guided tour, but if you prefer to go around the grounds with a tour guide, you can stop on one of those guided tours.
Well, thank you, Laura, very much. We're looking forward to taking some of those tours ourselves, and we will be right back.
I'm Pat, and you're watching the 302.
Hey 302, we are at Hagley Museum and Library, a gorgeous place to visit, especially this June for Bike, Hike, and Brews. And joining us now to talk about it is my friend Harper, who is the manager of visitor services. Harper, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Now, it's so lovely, and in June you have some special nights for people to come out and just get a little exercise and have some fun. Tell me about it.
Well, June, July, and August, so the whole summer, Wednesday evenings from 5 to 8, we have our Bike and Hike and Brews event. So it's for people to come and enjoy our natural setting. It's a little different than what you might experience during the day because we don't have demonstrations or guided tours. It's really about the scenery here, coming out to get some exercise. You can bike, you can hike, you can go all the way up to the residence and back. It's a 3-mile round trip, or you could just come to this area here, stroll along the river, grab some locally made ice cream from Woodside Farm Creamery or some brews from Dogfish Head Brewery. So it's really a wonderful evening. We have people of all walks of life who come here and they love it. And on the last Wednesday of each month, we also allow our leashed canine friends to come on our dog days of summer.
So if someone's going to come out for the very first time, what are some tips that you would give them if they're going to come out and maybe walk the 3 miles?
Well, I would definitely say wear some good, comfortable shoes. A lot of our terrain can be a bit rugged, and during Bike and Hike and Brews, people can walk on parts of the property that are usually closed to walking visitors, some parts that are generally only accessible by bus. So there's some going uphill and just a little, like I said, rugged terrain, so it's good to dress appropriately for that. And a lot of people want to bring a picnic with them and enjoy dinner here. But if they don't bring their own, they can also get food from our Beelan House Cafe with our new caterer, the Wandering Chef.
Well, talk to me a little bit about, the Wandering Chef. I mean, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that will be, oh, I think I'm going to go check that out. So what kind of food do they have?
Well, his specialty is dumplings, like Chinese dumplings.
Nice.
And it got voted one of the best in Delaware.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. And he actually just opened up at the cafe here last week. So we have yet to see what he's going to be bringing to us, but we're really excited. He has a food truck and a local catering business, and we've heard great things, a lot of freshly made food using local ingredients.
I'm pretty sure I heard you talk about ice cream. Talk to me about that.
Woodside Farm Creamery. It's a local creamery in Delaware, and they make delicious ice cream. They come with their truck every week for Bike and Hike, have a couple different flavors, and that's something that people absolutely love, because who doesn't love ice cream in the middle of summer?
Sure, sure. And for the adults who want to, you know, drink responsibly, there, of course, there's, you said the Brews angle of it. What is that?
Dogfish Head Brewery. They are our main sponsor for Bike and Hike and Brews, and every week we feature some of their locally made beer, and it's a lot of seasonal favorites that they provide for us.
So when people come out, do you find they take advantage of this time for like special pictures, things like that?
All the time we have people who want to come here and get family photos, engagement photos. Bike and Hike and Brews can be a nice time for that, but it's really, I mean, if you look at our property all year, depending on whether you want some lovely fall leaves or sunshine in summer or the spring flowers we have now, it's a great place to get photos.
Yeah, especially as it goes from spring into summer. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. Now, is there ever any kind of entertainment or anything out here that you guys do?
Well, we do some special events that sometimes involves local musicians, but we feel like with Bike and Hike and Brews, we have enough going on with people making their own entertainment and just enjoying each other's company. We have mileage markers along the path, so people who are really here for that exercise, they can keep track of their mileage. So it's one of those events where we just put a couple things out there and people just enjoy themselves. We do have some 19th century games that we put up on Workers Hill, and we have a brand new Workers Hill pavilion. So if someone wants to get in the shade and just sit under there and enjoy the little picnic, then it's a great place for it.
Well, it's nice, 'cause I think a lot of times when you come to a place like this, you feel like you're on a timetable and, you know, you got to see this, you got to see that. You know, you could come here, maybe pack a little lunch, you know, and check this out and just kind of meander your way, like a leisurely stroll through Hagley Museum and Library.
Yep, and they don't need to worry about be here this time for a tour. It's just take it easy and just enjoy.
Now, what's your favorite part of Bike, Hike, and Brew?
Oh, I'm the ice cream person.
Oh, yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. I'm sure a lot of people are really anxious to check out the menu. There's just so much to do here.
Yes.
It's hard to know where to begin.
Yes, there's always a lot going on. And at Bike and Hike and Brews, it's so great seeing this multi-generational event. You see people with just small children they have, maybe pushing them in the strollers, and then just people who are longtime members who've been coming to Hagley for years. We've had Bike and Hike and Brews for over 20 years now, so you could see someone coming in the beginning and growing up with this.
Now, did we talk about whether there was a charge for this, or?
We didn't, but that's a great question.
Yes.
It's a bargain. It's $3 a person, and it's free for members and children under 6.
That's perfect. So if people want to find out more, they go to the website and they buy a ticket ahead of time, maybe?
They can. Actually, on our website, we have a bundle of tickets where you can get 10 tickets for $25, so you actually save a little bit of money that way.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Harper.
Thank
and
you for
everybody, you're
coming.
going to want to check this out starting in June, and we'll be right back.
You're watching the 302.
We are at the Hagley Museum and Library where we're talking about Makerfest, and I'm joined by Tanya, who is the Education and Interpretation Manager here at Hagley. Thank you so much for joining us. So what exactly is Makerfest?
Makerfest is a celebration of creativity. It is a gathering of local and regional makers who come to show what they do and share what they know.
Now, when we use the term maker, I know that there's a whole realm of folks that fit under this category.
It is not a single definition. A maker, you know, I compared them to what humans are. Humans love to use tools to create things, and they love to tell stories about how they made them, and that is what a maker is. So it can be anybody that does something with tools and creates things. And they love to explain it. It's one of the rules of coming here is you've got to be willing to talk to your visitors and engage and even have some hands-on demonstrations, get them involved.
So what kinds of things are we going to see when we come to Makerfest?
We are going to see a range of makers that come from tech. We have 3D printers, roboteers, robotics clubs, and then we also have some of the basic arts, clay making and or clay working and metal working, glass blowing, woodworking. So it's a whole wide range. We have a beekeeper coming to show us how to make bees, to give us that inspiration on how we can propagate pollinators in our backyards.
So I think it'd be really cool to see, you know, people that in their own element creating things like you said, the glass blowing. I mean, it's amazing. They'd have to bring like all of their gear.
Yes, it is out. Well, I'll tell you, the beginning of the fest, it's a 2-hour setup when they all arrive to set their things up. So it's a lot of fun. Very stressful in the beginning as we get everybody set up. They move in, they come in, but they are all their own, you know, they do this regularly. They are used to coming and taking their show on the road, basically. They are the grand show and tellers.
So when we talk about beekeeping, I mean, that's bringing in hives. I mean,
No hives.
Like
they'll bring in the hives without
the
bees.
actual bees. There's
Yes.
no bees. Oh, okay.
No, but they'll bring in the equipment to show how
like the
it's done.
soothe and all of that, you know.
Yes. We have a wood turner who's coming. They're going to have a lathe, a tabletop lathe, to show how that's doing. We've got, like I said, a clay worker who's going to be having a potter's wheel. So we have artists coming and engaging kids to come and do it. One of my favorite makers is a puppeteer.
Okay.
And he actually shows how a very simple puppet can be made, and then he also teaches kids, or adults even, how to make this puppet work. And the amazing thing is that he gives back to the community. He works with the First Nations in Canada to teach them fine motor control skills. So again, our makers do all kinds of things. They solve, what motivates a maker? They solve world problems, they answer a community need, or they're just basically trying to answer a personal inquiry following. So some just do it for fun, some are doing it because they want to solve a problem. So it's a lot of fun to go and see the different kinds of makers that you have.
And it is very appropriate to have it here because makers are what made this country. And here on Hagley, I mean, you have gunpowder and, you know, everything had to be self-contained. You had to make all your food, you had to make everything that you needed. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, that's I always was amazed that DuPont started this business. And it's not like today where you just you check out an area and you make sure you've got the right infrastructure to support your employees. He had to create the infrastructure to support his employees. So he not only had to know how to make powder, he had to know how to, to organize workers' communities, to have fields planted to feed, the horses and his employees. So it wasn't as simple, just I want to start a business. It's I want to start a town almost. And so he had to know a lot. You do know a lot. And actually, I think that's one of the things I hope that visitors coming to Makerfest will realize, I can do that. I can do so many different things. When you look at how the makers are making their things, you go, oh, I know how to do that. It's a compilation of a lot of small skills that we don't realize we have.
Sure. I think we kind of like lose that after a while because we're so used to other people doing things for us. You know, we're more advanced, but yet we don't know how to do as much as, say, our grandparents or our great-grandparents.
So one of my favorite things is, yes, that approach of how do you live off the grid? That's a good challenge. And we do that here with our kids. We have 19th century programming where children go back in time and pretend to be in the 19th century living on the property. How do you live without power? And again, I think that, when working with hand tools, we don't work with hand tools so much anymore. So many of us don't have a garage anymore where we just go out and tinker and putter. And that, again, this is the Makerfest, brings us back to our roots. And again, I love it because you can come there with an approach of how do I live off the grid? And check out some of the different makers who are showing you how to live off the grid.
Sure. Now let's talk about when this is going to be. When is the Makerfest?
It's April 27th. That's a Saturday, and it's from 11 to 4 p.m.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, are there tickets? Is it free?
You can. It costs $5 for adults, $3 for children. It's free for members, and 6 and under is free as well. Bring your small ones. We'll have food trucks.
Oh, really?
Yes. Delicious ones. Ice cream, an ice cream truck.
So it's going to be a fantastic evening or afternoon for
So
everybody.
fantastic, yes. We also are featuring some beer makers, craft brewers, and they'll be explaining their craft. So there will be tastings as well, not for the young ones, but
Of
for the
course.
older,
and older people
our
who want
older
to
visitors.
be responsible about it.
Yes, yes.
Alrighty, well thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be right back. That'll do it for this edition of the 302. For more information on the Hagley Library and Museum, visit hagley.org. We leave you now with some beauty shots. Have a great day.